I'd like to take this opportunity to wish everyone a Happy New Year, and I'd like to call together to the Health and Human Services Committee of the Montgomery County Legislature. It is Tuesday, January 16th at 6 p.m. This is a committee of the whole. First on the agenda is discussion.
Sure.
Yes.
I would like to have a discussion in executive session with Matt Ossenford to discuss the personnel issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yay.
Abstentions? Okay.
That's gonna be long. Shut your mic off.
See you.
We come out of executive session where no action was taken.
What'd you say your mic wasn't
Second? Second?
on? Second. There you go.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Is there any other discussion? All right, hearing none, let's move on to tonight's agenda. First resolution is resolution amending the 2024 operating budget, carryover PHEP grant funds for public health. Do I have a sponsor? Legislator Wilson and Chairman Emeritus Pertel. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Do we have a pass? Okay. All right, that will move on to the full board.
Yeah, we're about to do that, and I think you just go.
Oh, okay. Next is a resolution amending the 2024 operating budget, carryover grant funds for coronavirus crisis response funds, COVID-19 for public health. Do I have a sponsor?
Sponsor.
Legislator Pep and Legislator Pertel. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That moves on to next week. Next is a resolution amending the 2024 operating budget, carryover grant funds, strengthening NYSDOH infrastructure, workforce, and data systems funding for public health. Do I have a sponsor? Chairman Sweet and Legislator Pertel. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Moves on to the full board. Next is a resolution amending the 2024 operating budget, carryover grant funds, 2023 to 24 rabies grant funds for public health. Do I have a sponsor? Legislator Wilson and Legislator Pertel. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That will move on to the full legislature. Next is a resolution amending the 2024 operating budget for mental health.
Sponsor.
Legislator
Pep.
Pep, Legislator Majewski. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That moves on to next week. Next is a resolution amending the 2024 operating budget, 2023 lost term project contract for Mental Health Association and NYS Inc., and Haney's grant funds for mental health. Do I have a sponsor?
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Kelly and Legislator Pep. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Next is a resolution authorizing the county executive to sign an agreement with the Bonadio Group for social services.
I'll second.
Legislator Kelly and Legislator Headwell. Any discussion?
Yes, I just want to get a better understanding of the reimbursement on this, if I could, please. The total cost is how much more? It's 30 and 195, so on phase two,
Are you familiar with this?
we're
one?
going to be, our share's going to be, I mean, I know we need this desperately.
99,723.
Don't get me wrong, whatever the price is, but I just wanted to,
Yeah, I want to say the reimbursement's about in the ballpark of 60.
Well, it says 99.7 here, but,
Is our share.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I want to know, is what's it going to cost
There are
us?
still some particulars going on with this resolution due to procurement. So, there's some work that needs to be done in the next few days on this. We might end up actually pulling this resolution until next month, and maybe engaging on a short-term contract that I can sign within the $70,000 threshold to get them started.
Okay.
While we address the procurement issue because of the size of the contract, that's something that I know we have on our list but didn't get to today. Also, this is also something you're gonna see some crossover with what the controller's doing, because they're gonna be looking at some of the same things. So that's another reason to relook at the contract. So there's a chance we may pull this next week. I will get some more information emailed out because of the timely nature. We wanted to get it on the agenda, but have run into a couple issues that we have to tackle.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? That moves on to next week's legislature. Next is a resolution authorizing the county executive to sign renewal agreement 2024 transportation of Fulton County veterans, youth and veteran services. Legislator Kelly and Legislator Wilson. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That also moves on to next week's full legislature. Next is a resolution amending the 2024 operating budget, NYSDOH 2023 Local Health Department Performance Incentive Award for Public Health. Sponsor is Legislator Pep and Legislator Majewski. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That moves on to next week's full legislature. Next is a resolution amending the 2024 operating budget, carry over the 2023 Dwyer funds for mental health. Do I have a sponsor? Legislator Patel and Legislator Kelly. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That moves on to next week's full legislature. Next is a resolution amending the 2024 operating budget for mental health. Do I have a sponsors, Legislator Kelly and Legislator Pep. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That moves on to next week's full board. Next is a resolution authorizing the county executive to sign an agreement on the 2024 resource allocation plan for youth and veteran services. Sponsors Legislator Kelly and Chairman Sweet. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That moves to next week's legislature. Finally, we have an add-on for a resolution establishing the position of medical director part-time. Do I have a sponsor?
I'll second it.
Legislator Kelly and Legislator Pep.
Yeah.
Did you want to, since
Sure,
this is
yeah,
an add-on, you want to
so
just touch on
similar
it?
to Some of the previous statements, we're expanding the role of medical director to now encompass public health and mental health. That's why you see the change in the establishment of the position. We do have a medical director now, but this will expand.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? That moves on to next week's full legislature. Anything under other? Hearing none, I need a motion to adjourn. Legislator Kelly, Legislator Wilson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Meeting adjourned at 6:43. Tried to be
I'd like to call the Physical Services Committee to order at 6:44. Anything under discussion? Okay, we'll move right along to our first resolution. Resolution to authorize the county exec to sign a 2024 insurance renewal with Montgomery County Sanitary District 1.
I'll second.
You got them both? Okay. Yes, Mike?
Is this our contingent account or the sewer district?
This is
Sewer district.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor of moving it to full board, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Next resolution, appointing a member to the Montgomery County Sanitary District Board 1 Board of Directors. Legislator Pett, Legislator Kelly. Any other discussion? All those in favor of moving it to full board, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Okay. Next resolution, which is 5. No, it's 4, right? I lost my spot here.
Yep, that's what we did.
Okay, resolution amending the Resolution 232 of 223 for Public Works. I'll sponsor it. I need a second. Legislator Pett. Discussion. Any of those, all of those in favor, move it to full board, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Okay, resolution amending the 2024 operating budget for Public Works.
I'll second.
Legislator Mahuski, and I'll second it. Okay. Discussion? Yes, Mike?
Matt, question on this. I see it's coming out of fund balance. Didn't we know this, was gonna happen, and why isn't it in somebody's budget?
Are we on the Public Works and the?
Yeah, the
Yes.
courthouse money.
Yes, I believe this is, well, we didn't know the exact amount. It wasn't really discussed in budget time, and I do believe that the court is paying for it. So-
Everything after this, I think it
Yeah.
said it. Funds allocated to the project now, okay, I'm sorry, it says now and in the future, so that, I guess it means everything.
I missed that too. I
Yeah.
thought it was in the future.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
Legislator Kelly?
So, being we're taking this out of fund balance, when the money comes back for reimbursement, which budget does that go back in?
It always goes back into fund balance, and I don't want to speak for the treasurer, but I think it very rarely goes back into the departmental budget.
General fund.
So, the general.
Any other discussion?
And I imagine there would be
Oh.
an agreement of some sort with the courts before this is executed, correct?
So it falls under the current agreement.
Oh, okay.
Of course, I spoke to Eric about this in depth. He said it falls under the current agreement. He spoke with OCA on this about when the reimbursement is coming, and their fiscal year closes around, I believe, March and April is when we're anticipating our payment coming in, is my understanding.
Any other discussion? Those in favor of moving to full board, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Item number 6, resolution amending the Resolution 216 of 223 with Public Works. Chairman Sweet. Do we have a second? Okay, Maria, okay. Discussion? All those in favor of move to full board, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Anything under other? I make a motion to adjourn at 6:48. Maria
I'll second.
and Bob.
Okay, I'd like to call to order Economic Development Planning Meeting, 6:48. Is there any discussion before we start? We have 2 resolutions. First resolution is resolution authorizing the county executive to sign an agreement with Barton and LaJudas, DPC, for professional services, solid waste management plan update, economic development and planning. Sponsors are Dan Wilson and seconded by Chairman Sweet. Is there any discussion? Just for discussion purposes, as you may or may not know, the county has no responsibility for providing solid waste services. The only requirement that they have is to have a solid waste plan. This is just reaffirming and updating that plan. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstained? Move that to the full legislative body. The second resolution is a resolution consenting 2, and authorizing the modification and amendment of the payment terms and conditions of a certain payment in lieu of taxes agreement by and between Montgomery County Industrial Development Agency and Mohawk Solar LLC in connection with the Mohawk Solar LLC project economic development planning. Sponsor, Legislator Pep, seconded by Legislator Kowalczyk. Is there any discussion? Just for your information, what this is just amending, it's not amending the county's position in the pilot program. We will remain the same. It has to do with the school district or school districts in that area and having a host program for reimbursement, which helps them with their tax cap, and it's just favorable in that way. But there is no movement in the county's position on that. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstained? Move that to full board. Is there any other discussion? If there's no further discussion, we'll end the meeting at 6:51 PM. All those in favor?
Aye.
Make the motion.
I did.
I seconded.
All right, I'd like to call the Education and Government Committee meeting to order at, what do you got there, clerk, 6:51 or 2? 51. Any items for discussion before we get into the resolution? Committee of the whole, as we know. All right, our first resolution. Excuse me. Resolution appointing member Montgomery County Jury Board. Any volunteers? Yeah, sponsor, second. Legislator Pertel. Discussion. Is anybody interested in doing this?
I'll do it, Mike.
You'll do it? Okay. Thank you, Legislator Headwell. I thought I was gonna end up doing it again. Like what was the other one? There's 2 of them we usually.
Library.
The law library, yeah. Is that a 2-year deal? How come we're not?
It is.
Okay,
I think so.
okay. Thank you, Legislator Headwell. All right, any discussion on inserting Legislator Headwell's name into this resolution? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you, Legislator Headwell. Our next resolution is a resolution appointing member of the legislature to Cornell Cooperative Extension of Fulton Montgomery Counties Association Board of Directors. Do I have a sponsor?
I'll sponsor.
Chairman Sweet, Legislator Headwell. It has been our custom, our agrarian and agricultural connection, Legislator Kelly is usually here. Are you okay with that? Yeah. All right. So all in favor of approving this resolution for full board approval next week with the name Legislator Kelly in there? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Our next resolution, rescinding Resolution 187 of 2007 and reestablishing a Montgomery County EMS Advisory Board. I'll sponsor that. Do I have a second? Legislator Majewski. Sheriff, any color you want to add to this?
Blue?
No, sir.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't? Carl? Under Sheriff?
I stay the same. Somebody sent it. Members assigned?
No, it looks like it's just, changing it to a 12-person board instead of a, and everybody's represented on there.
Yeah, I believe if the county attorney was involved in drafting this, it would be absolutely 100%.
Okay. Glad to see that our new EMS conglomeration here is working on all cylinders. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of moving it? Opposed? Abstentions? All right, our next resolution authorizing the county executive enter into a sublet agreement for use of office space at the Montgomery County Tourism Satellite Office. Do I have a sponsor?
Sponsor.
Legislature Kowalczyk, Legislator Wilson with a second. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I know that came up towards the end of last year, and I was asking, whether we're gonna have, and thank you for buttoning this up.
Oh, it was really towards.
Vinnie?
the office.
All right, well,
I
thank
just,
you.
I'm just
Because
not-
we were talking about whether, we had to sublet it or, no, thank you. Thank you. All right, our next resolution appointing the Republican Election Commissioner. I'll sponsor that. Do I have a second? Chairman Sweet. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, moves to next week. Next resolution authorizing and approving revised settlement agreement to an action related to the opioid crisis. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Legislator Wilson, discussion? We're making a little money on this opioid crisis this month, aren't we?
More's coming in.
All right, good. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Next resolution authorizing county executive to execute a contract with CT Mail Associates for engineering services to the FMCC campus paving project. I'll sponsor it. Do I have a second? Legislator Wilson, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, move forward to next week. Our next resolution appointing members of the Montgomery County Agricultural and Farmland Protection Board. I'll sponsor that. Do I have a second?
A second.
Legislator Majewski. Any discussion?
What about the terms that are expired? Got the first 2, 4, 5.
Are we renewing these, council, for another 4 years? Is that the deal?
Yes, so
Yes.
look at the result.
They're funding letter twice.
So the whereas sheet
Yeah.
just shows the current composition
Okay.
of the board.
Yes.
And then if you look at the resolve clause, that's.
The ones that needed
updating.
bumping got bumped. Yes.
Okay.
It's kind of
Dykeman.
a funny format, but it's kind of the historical one and it helps track the
Okay.
process, so.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Our next resolution authorizing county executive to amend the agreement with UTC Associations Incorporated. Do I have a sponsor? Legislator Wilson, your second. Chairman Sweet. Matt,
Yes.
how about some discussion?
Absolutely. So this is a big topic. This goes back to last year and the beginning of discussion when we could not get a cybersecurity policy, which then initiated a discussion for the multi-factor authentication. There was some struggles in getting that going. And that was at the point in time I made the decision to bring in some outside help to really dig into some issues. We've been in, I don't want to say, a very serious mode of having to make some real changes in IT. We're reaching the tail end of the process with these consultants. This resolution allows the consultants to stay here till the end of January. And then at that point, we need to have a discussion on what we'd like to do moving forward. I've talked to a couple legislators about this. We used to have 4 people here full-time, and essentially we're paying, best way to describe it is registered nurse, traveling nurse money to have to bring people in. And we've reached the end of that process. There is, however, one person that we would like to, if possible, to keep on full-time. And I think we need to put together a plan and present that to you moving forward. But this resolution allows the outside help to stay here through the end of this month, and no additional funding is in this resolution for beyond that. And at that point, it's really a decision for the legislator to make how we want to move forward. I think we would like to have one person here full-time that we've liked and think is doing a great job. The other people, we think we could do without, with the exception of one, maybe a couple times a month. But that's basically where we're at with this. We've used ARPA money, we've used county funds, and this brings us up over about $800,000, and with an end point at January 31st. And over the course of this month, we have to have a discussion, I think a bigger discussion about IT moving forward and what we'd like to do as far as continuing or not continuing a much more smaller level of help to the tune of maybe $15,000-$20,000 a month as compared to in the ballpark of 80, which is where we've been at. But in that process, we have solved some major issues, some network issues, gotten the 2 buildings done, the phones beginning to be up and running in a number of departments. So there's been, I think we've gotten through the wall, so to speak, and now we're really expecting the IT department to continue full steam ahead now that some of the barriers have been taken away.
Legislator Kelly.
So the 160 difference, we've already paid for in last year's budget?
Well, yeah, that's how I want to get to the bottom of
Yeah,
the
so
math
this
here.
is taking, so there was a backlog of bills over the summer that we ended up getting, and it was, I'll be honest, we were caught off guard a little bit. And when I looked at it and I sat down and Nancy and I ran all the bills, all the, what we owed and what we had in the budget, it still left us short about 180 to get through the end of January. So this is all in, and funding only until the end of this month.
But it says not to exceed 885, which
Yes.
had this reader think, okay, we've spent 660 up to this
Correct.
point, because you're
Correct.
looking for 225.
Correct.
Okay, and that 225 is for another month of these people?
No, because
Oh.
we're behind on the bills. This
Okay.
catches us up and gets us to the end of January.
Okay.
So when I looked at it, I said, okay, we're gonna use the ARPA money, we're gonna use the 300,000 that we had set aside in Dan's budget for this year. What else do I need to get through the end of January? Because the one guy was completing a network mapping, which we didn't have, and documenting a lot of our system. That's a nice thing to have, but not at this price moving forward. So we're gonna take everything he's put together, it's a great start, they can take the ball and run with it. The project manager, who is, is no longer with us as of the end of 2023, that is being taken over by the IT department.
The guy who spoke to us before here, they came here and talked to us a couple months
That's
ago.
Bernie. We'd
Yeah.
like to keep Bernie at a high level, working with Dan, but he's a 1 day a week guy maybe. But there's one person, Abinash, who he's worth every penny. But again, that's a discussion for post January 31st. This gets us right now with that staff, for Abinash to wrap up the network mapping and give us everything he's got. Dan had that conversation, I believe, with Bernie today, that we want all that by the end of the month, and so on and so forth.
Let's take Kelly.
Just earlier, you said the 300,000 that's in Dan's budget for this year, are we using all
All
of
of
that
it, gone.
for June?
Yes. And essentially what it's doing is covering November and December.
The
Which is why
225?
we need a
The
amendment to the
225,
contract.
Matt, the new money is.
The new money takes us through January 31st.
But also covering November and December.
Basically, the total is that 800 and change number for the entire time that UTC has been here, from the day they started till January 31st. So in order to get the bills paid and to fund us through January 31st, we did the calculations, and that's why you have the number for the appropriation of fund balance. And when I saw that we were already through the 300,000 and needed more fund balance, I said to Dan, I immediately called the owner of the company and said, we are not going further than January 31st. Because I don't have the money to fund this throughout the course of the year, and I will never, ever get it passed. So what do I need to get to January 31st and get this buttoned up and let IT take the ball from here?
Legislator Headwell.
Matt, you missed the memo on not using Angler fund balance.
I know.
Yeah.
This one was unavoidable. And we had bills that we had to pay. No, you're right. If I didn't want to have to put this up there, I didn't. But they've been here, they've done the work, they've helped us bury through some very significant barriers, which I could go into, and but we've gotten through those barriers, and now IT can take the ball and run with it. I didn't want to bring this to you, and the only thing I could do in that situation, when Nancy presented me all the bills, which there was a backlog on some of the bills, was I know that this board is not going to fund this at this level past January 31st. So I said, okay, let's get it wrapped up, let's get the network mapping. We got rid of one of the people at the end of last month to cut it down as much as possible. And then it's going to be a decision point for us forward.
Just
But
one
I was
second.
caught off guard by the bills too because of the backlog,
I-
which I probably shouldn't have been.
I also think we gotta change the language under financial impact, because I don't, you know, how, it's incongruent for it to have been included in the 2024 operating balance, and we now need a fund balance for
Okay,
it.
we can make that.
You know, Legislator Kelly.
So we tacked in 300,000 in this budget that we're in now, 2024. And then we need another 225.
That's a very safe estimate. Yeah.
So November to run through
Roughly.
January.
2.25.
Five.
But it goes back even beyond that. We got, and Megan, correct me if I'm wrong, but we got like 4 or 5 months at a time, and we we're kind of caught off guard by it, frankly.
What did we originally sign on this, Matt? What was the number on the contract?
300. And then we put another 300 in, but what was happening too is, you know, when we were dealing with trying to resolve these network issues, which frankly, it was Dan and Bernie that solved these issues, you know what I mean? So I wasn't in a position to pull back because we needed to power through it. So we kept them going, kept them going, kept them going.
Legislator Kelly.
So we're blowing through the 300,000 that's 424.
Yep.
And then we need another 225.
And we're done at the end of January.
And does any of this current money, the 300 and 225, take into account the reimbursement that ARPA's gonna give us to replenish our account?
Yeah,
The
we've
ARPA money?
Yeah, we've exhausted that portion of the funding already. That was the first funding. That was approved, I think, early last year.
So there's 500, so this is
The total is 800 and change. That ultimately will be what we've paid.
But I mean, if you take the 5 plus the 3, that's 8 there, and another 225.
No, I think the total all in was over
You know,
800.
that's the math I'm, right? Is that what you're?
No, we had two 300, we had two allocations of, one was 350, I believe, ARPA money. One was 300, which was 24 budget, plus the additional fund balance. That should add up to the total amount of the contract.
The only reason we're saying that is it says, whereas authorized using 500 of ARPA funds in the top line of the resolution. So that 5 plus the 3 that was in the 24 budget plus the 225, I mean, either we got
I
to
think
tweak
it was
some.
350, I don't believe that was 500, I'm not sure why that number's in there, is that making any?
I'll check that.
I'm pretty sure it was 350. And that would result in the discrepancy that I think you're pointing to.
Well, we'll wait and see what Counselor can mine it out here.
Really not gonna make that much of a difference. We need
I don't want to go
vote.
on the limb and
No.
too much, but I'm pretty sure it was an original $350,000.
So then we can change this resolution to say 350 in that top line, and then the financial impact will say coming out of the, you know.
Yeah, and I can make that
Yeah,
change over the course of this
okay.
week. Yeah, it basically puts a bookend on this project of bringing in extra help, is what this resolution does.
That math would add up, 350 plus 3 is,
Um,
you know, and plus the
I
2
don't
and
want to say
4.
100%, but I'm
So,
fine.
resolution, well, it initially was 500, then it was amended to not to exceed 350.
Okay,
There we go.
So that's what happened, so it
All
needs to
right.
be changed, the resolution needs to be changed to say, resolution number 263, authorized using 350 of ARPA.
32 of 2022 there, the first line?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should say 263 in 2022.
All right, so we need a few
And then, so then that should add up.
tidy
to
ups here.
350 plus 300 plus.
That's 875.
That's 232. That's at 500.
All right, so we'll just,
You'll fill in the blanks.
we'll dust this off to say 350 in the top line and label what resolution it was, because it's evidently wasn't 32 of 2022.
It was supposed to be 232 of 2022.
Okay, so we're missing a number.
Authorized 500K, but I think you can just change it to say resolution 263, authorized using 350K.
Okay,
And then if you added up the 350.
Yes.
300.
Yes.
Budget.
70.
they-
875, it's 10 short.
yeah.
That number should be.
That means he's gonna come back for another 10. Perhaps.
I'll rip the Band-Aid off and take it out.
All right. So, everybody in favor of moving this to full board with those amendments?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Thank you. Resolution amending 2024 operating budget carrying over American Rescue Plan funds for multiple projects approved in the 2022 budget year. I'll sponsor that. Do I have a second? Chairman Sweet. Matt, just question, this is money that's being moved, obviously, for accounting purposes. We have to relabel it.
This is the carryover of the
Yes.
rescue funds? Yes, correct.
And
It's just it's procedural.
I had some feedback from some colleague here on the legislature who was wondering, are we able to know who these $272,957 are earmarked for? Not now, but can,
Oh, absolutely. And you know what I could do is, Sean has provided periodically the outline of the rescue funds and where it went. I'll
Yeah.
ask him to update that.
breakdown of that total?
And get that.
Make it an attachment to this?
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Yes, Chairman.
Could we also get a rundown of, I know there's been hundreds of projects.
Yeah.
Could we get a rundown of where they are, what's transpired, what's on hold? I know that.
Yeah, actually, Ken, and it wasn't Sean, I'm sorry, but Ken has sent that out periodically, and we'll just update that.
Yeah, because I've seen it going for us.
Yeah, because there's some big projects. like
Thanks, Ken.
there And the sidewalk out to the school.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious as to
Yeah.
where all that's going. Thank you.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Motion to adjourn, Education and Government? Oh, that's right, oh, I'm sorry. I do have an add-on, thank you. Resolution authorizing county executive to enter into contracts with Collar City for provision of auctioning services.
I'll second.
Legislators Kelly and Kowalczyk, discussion. Legislator Kelly?
So I'm assuming we made it through okay with the new law where we can't.
Well, I'm not sure we've made it through. Any current funds are ending up in escrow, if I'm not mistaken, pending clarity from the state, because I don't think we have that yet.
My understanding is that the governor, there's no bill actually in place now amending anything yet. It's still pending, changing the real property tax law. But how most county treasurers are proceeding is moving forward with auctions and putting the funds that are received in escrow, just in it, anticipating.
So did we do that with last year's one?
Yeah, I believe Sean did. That's my understanding.
And just to catch maybe anybody up that's on this, basically the state is saying that you cannot essentially make money off of tax foreclosures, so, which is a big change and is going to change the whole landscape of the foreclosure process.
So if Bob Pertel owes the county back taxes of $1,500 and we sell his house for $200,000, we have to give him back some money.
Yes, but there's also, but what's gonna happen is the counties are gonna have to be smart, because now you're gonna have to, rather than just taking in whatever you get, you're gonna have to document and charge for all of your admin costs, everything that you're putting into it, so you're not losing on the deal. And that's where I think a lot of the discussion is, and in the meantime, put the money in escrow, and everybody's trying to figure it out.
So we're gonna start filing more liens and that kind of thing also. I mean, some, the way the discussion is going, some is that the admin, they're thinking of building into the law. And then some of it, like extra things that we're doing, like when we're doing environmental reviews and that kind of thing, filing actually liens for that against the property, so the county gets to recoup that too. There's already a mechanism to do that under the environmental conservation law, but hasn't been really necessary up until this point because of the foreclosure process. So it's gonna certainly make things very complicated about what happens.
The county exec group and most associations are strongly opposed to it.
We'll have to hire another lawyer to stand up.
Well, it's not, it's.
What's one more?
It makes you chuckle a little bit, but you're not wrong. What this is gonna do is gonna take a process that works pretty good and is pretty straightforward and really complicated and add a lot of admin to it. And the key is going to be, make sure you capture any of that cost in your changes to the process, and make sure that you're charging for those things if you did have to do it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, that moves to next week. Motion to adjourn?
Aye.
All right, legislators Pertel and Majewski at 7:14.
Before we go on to the next committee meeting, the county executive had let me know that there's two gentlemen here from the Canajoharie, the village of Canajoharie, that wanted to talk to us about the Penrose project, and we never really gave them, not that there's the opportunity at these meetings to do that, but as a courtesy, I was wondering if,
Go on, Mark.
can we do it now so they don't have to wait through the rest? Would anybody have a problem with that?
Chad like him on his?
It's fine.
You want to do it that way? Okay. So if you want to start, and then we'll just, then,
Sure.
under discussion, we'll let them.
Okay. I'd like to call the Public Safety Committee meeting to order at 7:15 PM. Any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I'm just gonna set the stage real quick. Eddie here is, I think, got 2 more meetings tonight, so I appreciate you accommodating.
Sure.
Has been a driving force behind some of the stuff that's happening in Canajoharie. They're passionate and supportive of the projects, and just wanted to take a few minutes to let them give you a take on where they stand and what their thoughts are on the project.
Yep, so where we stand right now, I know there was a question that came up about the effect of the, I think, Bob, you'd asked the question about the DRI. With the potential redevelopment of the site, particularly for housing, there is more than a significant chance that a lack of that housing project at the site could negatively impact our DRI decision. Right now, only the capital region has been announced, so I don't know where the other 9 regions stand, but the state ultimately gets the final say on what gets awarded there. But that's really the catalyst for a lot of the changes in the area, not just the downtown area, but also for the villages of Palatine Bridge and Nelliston. We're working on some projects with the town to expand water sewer on Route 5 for another housing district there, and for a commercial district, which those items were included in the town's comprehensive plan that came out last year or the year before. So this project, again, is something that it's really to be a watershed for the other villages and towns in the area. I know that can be a negative connotation with affordable housing. We're not talking about Section 8. Peter could speak more to that because he deals with the HUD board, with both the HUD board now, yes, technically. But we're talking about working people, income verified, looking for essentially the opportunity to get work potentially at E29 or some of the other businesses that could come in as a part of the DRI. And then from there, not just have an affordable apartment, but if we're able to open up Route 5, potentially able to buy their first home with USDA backed loans at low interest, things like that. When we're talking about low income here, in this instance is up to, I believe, 60% of the area median income, which is a lot of, it's a lot of our support staff at the schools, a lot of county workers, a lot of people who are making in that income threshold right there to be able to qualify. So this, again, it really factors into a long-term plan for the area, but also as part of, I think, a tried and tested method of giving people a way up the economic ladder. So, well, we just want to show our support for the sale of Penrose. I've met with them. I know up here hasn't had an opportunity yet, and they're working very closely with some other municipalities like Little Falls, who have also met several times with. I don't know if there's any questions specifically from the legislation. No?
Thank you.
I'd just like to capture that, Eddie has really put his heart and soul into this, and I really appreciate him taking the time to come tonight. He wears multiple hats, and really has been a big part of moving this stuff forward, so we appreciate all he's been doing for Cambridge.
Any more discussion? No. Resolution amending the 2024 operating budget for the position of the part-time assistant public defender. Do I have a sponsor? Legislator Wilson, second.
Second.
Legislator Hedwell. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Am I confused?
What?
Where are we?
Yeah, I think
Mike?
he's got the,
I got the wrong papers?
yeah.
Yep.
Welcome aboard.
Here.
Welcome aboard.
Oh, you got it, okay.
I got it. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Leave it to the rookie. It's a resolution authorizing county executive to sign.
Yes.
Yes.
New York State and Digital Legal Services contracts. Sponsor,
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Pep. Second,
Pertel.
Legislator Patel. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? We'll move that to the full board. Resolution amending the 2024 operating budget, carry over 2020 state hazardous materials grant program. Sponsor,
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Kowalczyk.
I'll
And
se-
second,
I'll second.
Patel, Legislator Patel. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move to the full board. Let's see, resolution amending the 2024 operating budget for the sheriff.
I'll sponsor.
Sponsor Legislator Pep.
A second.
Second, Legislator Allen. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move to the full board. Resolution amending the 2024 operating budget, gifts and donations. Do I have a sponsor?
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Patel.
I'll second.
Who's that?
Legislator Headwell.
Legislator Headwell. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move to the full board. Resolution amending the 2024 operating budget, carryover 21-2022, public safety, answering point, grant program.
This is your amendment.
This is the amendment? Okay. So I need to make a motion to do that? Make an
No.
amendment?
Not in order.
Not in committee.
Okay. We need to make amendment to Resolution 6, the carryover. The amendment should read, the amount in both the increase in revenues and the appropriations should be $1,103. The amendment line in the appropriations should read A, everything the same except the last four numbers, 2259.
And the title should say 2024 operating budget, right?
That's correct, yes. Any discussion? All in favor to the amendment?
Aye.
We need a motion.
Oh,
Not committee.
Okay.
No motion.
No.
They don't need a motion.
No.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? Move to the full board.
That's what I said. Nobody listened to me. I didn't have sponsors.
Yeah, it was Legislator Headwell and myself.
That's correct.
Remember?
Thank you, guys.
I apologize.
Resolution amending the 2024 operating budget, carry over a 2021-2022 statewide inoperable communications grant program. Any discussions or sponsors?
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Kowalczyk.
I'll second.
Legislator Allen. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move to the full board. Resolution of authorizing county executive to sign an agreement with St. Mary's Healthcare. Sponsor,
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Wilson, second.
I'll
I'll second.
second.
Chairman Sweet. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
I abstain.
Move to the full board.
Just a quick discussion on that. The attachment's not working on this. Could I get a copy somehow of the attachment at some point? Thank you.
Resolution amending the 2024 operating budget with carryover forfeiture money, district attorney. Sponsor,
Me.
I'll second.
Legislator Pep, Legislator Sweet, or who was it?
Headwell.
Headwell.
Me and you.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move to the full board. Resolution amending the 2024 operating budget, carryover grant 2022 statewide inoperable communications grant for a targeted program. Sponsor,
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Patel.
I'll second.
Second, Legislator Pep. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move to the full board. Resolution authorizing the county executive to sign an agreement accepting the 2023 State Homeland Security Program grant funds and amending the 2024 operating budget. Sponsor,
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Wilson, second.
I'll second.
Legislator Kowalczyk. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move to the full board. Resolution amending the 2024 operating budget carryover of 2022 domestic terrorism prevention grant program. Sponsor?
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Kowalczyk. And a second? Legislator Allen. And discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move to the full board. Resolution amending the 2024 operating budget. Do we have a sponsor? Legislator Wilson, second.
I'll second.
Legislator Kowalczyk. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move to the full board. And resolution amending the 2024 operating budget, establishing a position for additional paramedic and eliminating the position of a full-time EMT.
I'll sponsor.
Sponsored by Legislator Pep. Second,
I'll second.
Legislator Kowalczyk. Any discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move to the full board. A resolution authorizing hourly rate increase for part-time deputies and correction officers. Have a sponsor?
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Kelly. Second, Chairman Sweet. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move to the full board. And resolution amending the 2024 operating budget for the position of part-time assistant public defender. We have a sponsor?
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Kelly. A second, Legislator Wilson.
I have discussion.
Discussion?
Of course.
This was the one that we talked about last month, and we wanted to do it all in one, right?
I think so.
The resolution references a resolution passed in 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's the one that
And that goes back to like your
Yeah.
question about it.
Yeah.
It was approved by resolution.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the
you
one
have-
we wanted to do, 23, fill a position, create it, and then do 24, and we said no. Just add it to the new
Right,
budget.
because
Yeah.
we wanted it to wait.
Yeah.
This is funny. You're gonna see 3 resolutions like this. Normally, the way it happens is you get one resolution amending the 2024 operating budget. It was broken out this year. It's a little confusing. It's not the usual way, but it's the same effect.
Yeah.
As long as we're not adding more attorneys on top of
This
it.
was me.
Huh?
I think we were looking for a goal, a number of resolutions we could
That
do in
song.
one meeting.
Jack's done very well.
Trying to add as many as possible.
Yeah, I
I'm not
think
sure
I
why
got-
we did it.
That just in my car.
Thanks, Shaggy.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move to the full board. And resolution amending the 2024 operating budget for the position of Principal Network System Administrator was sponsored. Chairman, or Legislator Kelly, Legislator Pep. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move to the full board. And that looks like it's it. Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
Legislator Kelly and Legislator Peck.
Okay, I'll call the Personnel Committee to order at 7:28. Any discussion? Okay, first. Pat, did you put this in everyone's folder? This?
Yes.
Yeah, I hope everyone saw this. This is something that Bob Patel and I talked about, Pat put together. Anybody have any comments or concerns about?
GTG. Good to go.
Good idea.
G-E-G.
Okay, any other discussion? If not, we have a resolution amending the 2024 operating budget for the position of Human Resource Labor Relations Specialist. Have a sponsor?
I'll sponsor.
Sponsor Kelly and Wilson. Matt, you have any, go ahead.
Is this just creating it full-time?
Yeah, this is the follow-up that needed to happen. Again, I think this goes to what Megan was just saying. It's
3 and 3.
another one of those that throws a microscope on every lot.
Any other?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
One thing I know in the past, when we've created new, I'd like to see the other cost associated with creating the position. Yeah,
Benefits?
yeah.
Just another thing to add on this, I had a discussion today about the amount of applicants that we got. We had 5 applications, there was 1 that was qualified. There is some thought putting
So I'll
in,
be getting a phone call.
there's some thought being put into maybe reducing the qualifications and opening it up to someone that might be maybe a little less experienced, but a good candidate, rather than having it sit for another month and then having to go out again. So if there is a tolerance for that, if we don't get any new apps, and that's the decision that we want to recommend, I was just curious if there'd be any openness to consider maybe reducing that position a little bit, just based on what kind of app we got.
Martin?
So then would we adjust the salary back down?
We would have to, it would come with an amendment that would likely adjust the salary.
It's gonna help you fill it,
That's the goal.
and they're, you know,
What I found is the more specialized the experience required, the more difficult it is to recruit here.
Martin, you got a lawyer joke now?
I'll let you be.
Any other discussion on this? Okay, all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, anything under other? If not, motion to amend, or no, to adjourn?
Excuse me.
All right, I call the Budget and Finance Committee to order at 7:31 on my watch, whatever the official one is, we'll go with it. Discussion, anybody from the audience, legislators, anybody?
No,
And we'll
Spread
go
out.
along. There is an ad on my committee, and we'll get to that in the end. First resolution is resolution establishing, reestablishing the position of deputy clerk, motor vehicle, and eliminating one index recording clerk position and the position of principal account clerk typist. Is there a sponsor?
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Walchuk. Legislator Allen. Discussion. Would you like to, before we begin bombarding you?
Sure. So the goal of this resolution is really just to address a piece of the recruitment and retention issues that we've been facing in the Montgomery County Clerk's Office and the Motor Vehicle Department. This specific position will allow flexibility, somebody who can work across both the County Clerk's Office and motor vehicle, which has been a roadblock that we have faced in the past. It will also be addressing some complicated personnel issues, which I can certainly talk to you all offline about if you need more detail on that. And this is all at a cost savings to the taxpayer and to the county.
So I have a couple questions, and hopefully we can understand it. So you're eliminating 2 positions?
That's correct.
Okay. So none of those positions we'll see in the future coming back?
Correct.
Okay. So that's good. What
It will
was
be zeroed out in the 2025 budget,
2024 budget?
2025 budget.
Okay. How does this change the operations of DMV? How will this enhance running the DMV?
Well, and if we're talking specifically about DMV, we've faced a multitude of retention and recruitment issues in that department, and then when we finally got a handle on those, we started dealing with a bit of a complicated personnel issue, which I can't go into here. And, you know, we've needed additional help in DMV. It's one of the busiest departments. It's a public-facing department. And so the problem that we have faced is that we do have people that could help out over in DMV, but they're not able to because of their position in the county clerk's office.
Can't help out in the clerk's office?
Their position in the county clerk's office will not allow them to help,
slide
to cross
over.
to cross departments and go help out in DMV, specifically when it comes to the more complicated financial aspects of the department.
Okay, so you kind of answered my next question, I think, and that's, do you anticipate any voids due to filling this position? You're saying that it's going to be better because this is going to be able to cross over between both sides of that wall, if you will.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. I don't recollect any changes in the past couple of years, but say in the past 2 years, have you had any big changes in your structure, either in the clerk's side or DMV?
No.
Okay. Very good.
Revenues increase.
Yes, revenue has increased.
Every year.
And my budget came in this year at a net negative.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Oh, come on, I got more discussion.
I did ask, good one, pause.
Okay. I got a couple concerns. One of the concerns I have right now looking at this is that, are both these positions empty at the present time?
The index recording clerk position has been empty since July. And the principal account typist position, there's currently somebody in it, but that person is who I plan on, should this pass, appointing to the new position. So nobody will lose their job.
See, but the problem that I have at the moment with it right now is, we're saying that a position isn't needed, but we've got someone in that position doing what? I mean, that's the point that is saying. So we've got a person that's been doing whatever, what we don't really need. So that's part of what I have. And the other part that I have with this whole thing is, this isn't going to help the lines at motor vehicle. This person cannot help out with any of the day-to-day operations of anything going on motor vehicle. This is a 100% management type position, which is not going to take care of any of those problems that we have over there. And I think that's what our biggest concern is, or we should be having at the moment, of how do we take care of the lines to get people back through, because anytime you come over to the building, the lines are a mile long, and I just don't think that we need more management on top of management at the present time. I think we need more workers doing the work than that. But the other part that bothers me is that we have a person in a position, working in a position, getting a paycheck every day, and we're saying we really don't need that job. I think that's what it really, the other parts of this whole thing. And the other thing is we're creating it, or we have a job. Does this person, the person that's going to be appointed this, does this person have any experience whatsoever in motor vehicle? I mean, we shouldn't be putting anybody in a position to manage motor vehicle or work on motor vehicle that maybe not have any knowledge whatsoever. So those are some of my concerns.
Okay. Would you like me to address?
Martin?
Okay, so as far as being able to help out with the lines at DMV, this position will actually do that. And the reason that it will is because a large portion of time is taken in the morning by other staff at DMV to reconcile the finances during the day and then in the afternoon. And so they're unable then to jump on a window when they're especially busy and help keep the line moving quicker. So with this position and this person being able to work across both departments, excuse me, they're able to, when we're especially busy, be able to be called over by our motor vehicle supervisor, jump on and help with the DMV financial so that she can focus on standing on a window and helping move that line faster.
And this has all gone through personnel, right?
Yes, I've worked with, for the past 3 or 4 months now, with the Director of Personnel, Nicole Yable, on this.
Any other?
So
Does anybody else, before we go back to Bob?
Thank you, Chair. So are these, the positions we're removing, are those CSEA positions?
Yes,
And will the new position be non-bargaining or CSEA?
non-bargaining.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstain? Carried. Next is a resolution amending the 2024 operating budget carrying over American Rescue funds for projects approved in 2022 budget year. Is there a sponsor?
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Wilson, seconded by Chairman Sweet. Discussion. I assume we'll just piggyback on what you wanted, it'll show up in the report. You, maybe American Rescue stuff? Yeah, sure. Any other discussion?
Just, so what's the, where's the, it's 15,000 increased
Total.
revenue? Okay. And where is that coming from? It's just a rollover, that's all we have left in that?
No, that was the other one in, under mine, that we had left and haven't expended.
So where is this 15K coming from?
Federal aid other.
So it's not American Rescue Plan?
No, it is.
Okay, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
That's just gonna get added onto that report, that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
We have an eye though to increase.
Depends where it goes.
Any other discussion?
How about a little apostrophe in front of it? Be the name of a new rapper, Increase.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, carried. Next is a resolution correcting 2024 town and county tax.
We need to pull this.
On the Cantrell. All right. I'll look for a sponsor.
Pull
No, if no one sponsors, it just stays in committee.
No, don't sponsor.
Okay.
Don't touch this.
All
Hammer.
right.
Okay, Hammer.
Hearing no sponsors, we'll move on to the next one. Next is a resolution approving abstract of audited claims.
Not sponsor.
Legislator Pep, seconded by Legislator Fratelli. Discussion, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, carried. I did have a question on one of the resolutions that were in Legislator Wilson's packet about the adding language to the previous one for the state, the culvert pipe,
Yes.
which was defining our time to do the project. Is that something that we're gonna see more often in these type of projects?
I don't know. I mean, we never, if we can't always predict what happens.
I was just wondering if it has something to do with us not spending the CHIPS money as rapidly.
Oh.
Maybe they're trying to tell us we gotta get this.
It's not
Get a
something
look at
that
the
us, it's a state. So there's like 60 other commissioners that we on the same resolution.
Is there anything under other? Hearing none, motion to adjourn. Legislator Walchuk, seconded by Legislator Peck. We're adjourned.
Can't touch this.